with the amazing transition. Okay, so what you're watching on screen right now is actually a fast-forwarded clip. This is a video much similar to my green dragon hide and dragon bone trip that lasted around 3 hours. Although this time I'm trying a different money-making method. What I'm actually doing in this case is I'm collecting snape grass, which is used for, it's a secondary ingredient in prayer potions. And it does rake in a decent amount of money in the Grand Exchange. You can see me here using a terror bird, and it's funny. This is one of those methods to make money where even the higher level players who have a yak, Brandon, can still be easily closely compared to someone who just has a terror bird, such as me. I believe the only difference between a yak and a war tortoise and a spirit terror bird, the only difference in profit per hour is around 100k, because literally you bank just so fast that having the snape grass is just literally having more inventory space doesn't really benefit you all as much as you would think it would. Especially in most situations where someone who does have a pack yak would be able to use the banking scrolls, where they would be able to just use the familiar special ability to bank something. But in this case, that actually doesn't even help you very much, because you wouldn't be able to bank them fast enough. You'd actually be slowing down your profit per hour by using the yak's scrolls in that case. So what I'm actually doing is let me explain this in a little bit more detail. You see that I'm wielding a water staff. I have law runes and astral runes in my inventory. What I'm doing is on a lunar spell book, you need level 74 mage, and to have done the quest Lunar Diplomacy, you can teleport to Waterbirth Island, which literally teleports you right to the snape grass. And in my bank, I've got quite a lot of Rings of Duelings. In this situation, I have around 200. So what I've decided to do was just teleport straight to the Castle Wars bank all my snape grass, and then just teleport straight back to Waterbirth, and then just continue the cycle. And you also see that I have a potion in my in that tab. The potion is energy potions, because I'm gonna say every 3 runs, your run energy does run low. So every single time that would happen, I would just down a potion, put the vial back in or drop it on the floor, and then teleport straight back to Waterbirth. And every once in a while, you can actually see me charging up my points, because right outside of Castle Wars there is a small obelisk, so you can recharge your summoning points there. So that's really good. I'm barely using really any profit at all. I guess if you want to try this method and you're really tight for cash and you don't want to use that extra 1k on the rings, what you could do is you could just stay on the lunar scrolls and home teleport. But I felt like that was cutting into my profit per hour way too much, so I just decided to buy the Rings of Dueling anyways. At some point during this clip, once I reach the 1 hour mark of me just constantly collecting snape grass, you can see me price check. I'm not. It's not a spoiler. You're gonna see it anyways. I can't really say it quite accurately because in Camtasia Studio it lags like a mother. When you're watching it right now, it's not lagging at all, but in Camtasia Studio, it lags quite horribly, so I can't keep up with you when it comes to the commentary. But I made just a bit more collecting snape grass than I would have doing green dragons. Clearly, if I did have a yak or a war tortoise, then doing green dragons or blue dragons would probably be a lot more worth it. But my situation and my level, I can pull off around 600k per hour doing green dragons with a spirit terror bird. And within this, doing snape grass, I'm actually able to pull off close to 800k an hour, which I classify as very, very, very good. So, especially later on in the video, you can see me selling the snape grass to the Grand Exchange, and I do get slightly more than the average price. So that means that there snape grass is in high demand, so it's definitely recommended that you go over there before snape grass starts to crash or something, because it's definitely an amazing money-making method. I do believe I spent around 2 hours worth of time. Yeah, just exactly 2 hours worth of time doing this right now, this long, excruciating trip. You can see throughout the video that a couple of people every once in a while are there with me. No one actually ended up collecting anything. It is a bit hard to find a free world. I was able to find one on my second try, thankfully. You definitely do not want to be collecting snapegrass with another player. You definitely want a world all completely to yourself. And if there is no free world whatsoever, then I recommend you come back later and try it later. Because if there is someone with you while you're trying to collect snapegrass, it's literally going to cut into your profit per hour so much you might as well just go green dragging for the money. During the trip, you can see that I actually made a really decent sum around the end of the video, and I'm really proud about that. So this is just an attempt for me to try to get back, because I am way behind in this competition. I believe Brandon, it's not a competition. In this series, the 100 mil from scratch, Brandon, my partner, or you may know him as dontbefail, he is immensely in front of me. He's around at 23 mil at the moment, and I am sadly at a small, I believe it's 10 mil. I'm gonna round it off to 10 mil if I sold all my items. So I'm not too happy about that at the moment, so I decided I needed to really pick it up the pace. And something I really wanted to explain to you guys, and I guess this is the only time I can talk to you, so I decided I'm going to say it now. I got a Vestas plate skirt drop from Revenants, and that came up to around 6 mil profit, and I'm really happy about that. But I classify it as kind of cheating in a way, because think about this. Could you imagine if one day I'm doing the Bank from Scratch series and I decide, okay, I'm going to do a clue scroll, and from the clue scroll I get a third age plate body, and then that's it, the series over. I wouldn't classify that as really fair, because no matter how many clue scrolls you do, you'll probably won't get one. So I didn't really classify the Vestas plate skirt drop as fair, because you could spend hours and hours and hours, days, even months in the Revenant dungeon, which I really have, and just not get anything good whatsoever. But me, I got lucky, and I want this series to be more of a money-making guide, and I don't want any part of it to be mainly based on luck. So that's why I decided, okay, how do I go about this with this money? So what I decided to do was I invested in a large stack of dragon boots, because I did realize that dragon boots were at an all-time low when it comes to price. So I decided that was my chance to start merchanting again. So I did buy a rather large stack of dragon boots with the money, and then I decided I was just going to collect snapegrass, and this was going to be the money that I was going to use. Something really important is that I kind of wanted this series to be in a way of something that everyone can do. So I didn't want it to be just the same repetitive thing over and over, such as God Wars, constantly over and over, because I am aware that there are certain players out there who can't do those sort of things. So I wanted to revolt down to something that, you know, a decent amount of people can do. For this guide, I know a lot of people haven't done Lunar Diplomacy, or Diplomacy, or however you want to pronounce it. A lot of people haven't done that quest, but if you haven't, I highly recommend you do. Its requirements really aren't that hard. It's personally my favorite quest in the entire game. I thought of it as an extremely fun quest. The Lunar Spellbook is definitely something that we all need to get at one point in time. And you gotta admit, Lunar Armor just looks absolutely sick. The requirements for this teleport is only magic level of 74. You can definitely do that. I input around 300k worth of supplies in here, and really you don't need that much. I actually ended up collecting a total of 1,600 exactly snapegrass, and which was pretty amazing because it was exactly on 2 hours and exactly 160. So I collected exactly 1,600. I'm a fail. 1,600 snapegrass in 2 hours. So that was a steady pace of 800 per hour for me. And that was me using this method here. And the thing is that you really don't need all that I used. I collected 1,600 Snapegrass, and really I only used around 8 rings of dueling or so, and I over prepared and I bought 200. So you definitely do not need the amount of supplies that I paid for. I'm really sorry if you can hear Skype in the background. So you definitely don't need all the supplies that I've paid for. You only need around, I'd say, I recommend around 200 law runes, around 200 astrals or so. I forgot the exact, around 400 law runes. That's what I recommend. You could definitely start with a lot lower. I recommend around 400 law runes and around 200 astrals. Because I believe the water birth teleport does and of course a water staff is definitely mandatory for this. That's because the water birth teleport requires 2 law, 1 astral, and I forgot how many water runes it is, but it doesn't quite matter because you should have equipped a water staff. So this is really an amazing money-making method. I'm definitely going to be doing this a lot off camera, and I actually did end up going back to the Waterbirth Island just about an hour after this video was shot. I just didn't feel like recording, because in this video I was actually recording for 2 hours straight, and I felt like just kind of being off camera, so I actually did end up making around 800k off camera doing this as well. So this is definitely one of those things that you really want to take into consideration, when you're staying out. Everyone has done this at one point. When you're just in the Grand Exchange, you're in a bank, you're just looking at your bank, confused, and just bored, and you don't know what to do, and you're just looking around, and you're like, should I go to Slayer? I don't know. What should I do? Should I go dungeoneering? I'm not in the mood for dungeoneering. This is definitely one of those things that you can do when you're just bored and have nothing to do, and you're thinking about doing Slayer. Personally, that's what I always do whenever I have no idea what else to do. In this case, though, it's definitely something that does not take much time. You can pretty much put it this way, as the Grand Exchange does buy Snapegrass for around 1k each. It's pretty much as if picking up 6 separate piles of 1,000 coins, and then having to bank every 36 coins. So yeah, every 36k you have to bank. It's really, if you put it into that kind of terms, it makes it sound a lot more, advertising, doesn't it? Well, that wraps it up for today's video. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, subscribe, like, and comment and stuff and all that good stuff. Subscribe for the 100 mil from scratch, and as always, have an awesome day. Bye.